Welcome back. Let's talk a little bit more about. Because earlier I heard you talk about transitions that you want to take. Um, you talk about your interests. I just want to know that since you said you in a serious relationship and then you have to stay in the Butte, is that do you feel any like pressure with that? You know, you only have certain choice to stay.
Right. It is very, you have to decide one way or the other, because she has a kid, and she has family in Dubuque, and she has a really good career in Dubuque, and she loves her job, and so she's definitely set on raising her kid and her kid going to school in Dubuque throughout the, years. So, I guess it comes down to if there were, like, a opportunity, like, if I had a job in Chicago or Madison or a bigger city in the Midwest, it would be very difficult to make that decision because as the closer you get to someone, and then then you gotta weigh the options. Like how important is she? See how important is their work life. But there's also plenty of other jobs in Dubuque that I could try and venture off and try to better myself.
Okay. As far as job concerning, do you think that you, how long will you stay in your job right now as working as manager?
I would hope to no more than 2 more years.
2 more years?
Yeah, I'd say no more than.
So it's in the process of exploring what you want to do next. Have you actually find something that you really want to do?
As far as in Dubuque, not really. I talked to, I networked with other friends and where they work and how do you like your job and what's it like. But I feel like a lot of people bounce from job to job to job. And if I know a friend that's been in 6 different businesses in Dubuque that I was considering applying for, I'm going to ask that person, what are your experiences there? How did it go? Why did you leave? Ask those kind of questions. There's not really one company in Dubuque that someone raves about. Like, oh, this is the greatest company. They treat you good. They pay you good. The job's fun. But I guess I want a challenging job. This job is challenging, but at times, and you have the same reoccurring problems over and over again. And I thought another avenue to explore, which is you're never too old to change, but either a policeman or a fireman. I was more leaning towards a fireman. I was just thinking about it. I did it for a couple of weeks of research, found out what schooling you needed in Dubuque. You have to have a paramedics degree plus you got to pass the civil service test. But the paramedic degree would take 2 years at NICC, or they have an accelerated course at University of Iowa. I think it's 8 months or something. Then I would have to go 8 months without income because it's really, really long hours throughout the day, and you're pretty much going to school full time. I guess you could work on the weekend and pick up a part time job, but I thought about that for a little bit. Got a couple friends that are firemen in Dubuque, and they love it. I have a lot of friends that are policemen in Dubuque, and every day is kind of different. Every call is going to be a new scenario, a new situation, so you never know what to expect. So I think the unknown right there makes it exciting. It's unpredictable, but at my job, Hirschbach, I know what to expect when I come in every day, what problems are going to happen. So it's kind of like repetitive stress that that it's really hard to find the answer and solution to, because you would think you could smooth it out and it wouldn't be so stressful every day, but it's a constant battle. Some really hard days and some average days. But yeah, mean, there's definitely different avenues I can take. I'm not restricted to, Dubuque isn't that bad as far as the job market goes. It's like in a city, they have, hospitals and fire departments and police departments and any kind of industries there, but it's just in the business industry, in the business sector, there's only probably 5, you can count on one hand, that really are good players that pay well. So you're kind of limited in the business industry.
Okay. So it sounds like this job that you in Hirschberg's managing, as far as you do like the part of challenging, and there's, even though they're sometimes stressful, but the same, what did I say, same challenge every day that you have to find a solution for it, but it's, even though it's similar, but there's always, could be unsolved. You like that part?
A little.
No?
Yeah.
It's earlier you talked about that you wanted to work for around maybe 2 more years or so in Hirschberg.
Right.
And then you also talked about that you do research about the firemen's, okay, and it's taken around you need 2 years.
Right around there, yeah. Maybe a little bit less. Yeah.
Are you consider about taking?
I would probably job shadow the job if I was super serious about it, because then you pretty much have to know that's what you want to choose for your last 20, 30 years of your career. You don't have to, but it would be really pointless to go to that schooling and then get the job and not like it, and a year later want to do something else. But I would have to be really definite about doing it. So if I were going to go that route, I would probably go on the job for at least a week and ask the fire department if I could just be a job shadow for a while. And then I can kind of get the first-hand experience and see. I'm sure they would let you do.
Okay, that sounds good, like a good plan, because you do have an idea what you want to get a little experience of what the fireman's job would look like, and then see if you like it before you take a class.
Right.
That's a good plan. As far as that, for you in the deep right? Okay. What if, let's say, you talk to your girlfriends and decide that you want to take a step ahead, getting out of Dubuque? Where would you go? And what would you consider it?
I would say a bigger city than Dubuque. If that's saying if I had if she wasn't in the picture, is that what you're saying, or if she were in the picture?
Well, if she decided to think it's best for you to go,
okay.
and she would like to,
probably Madison or Milwaukee. Yeah, just Madison's only an hour and a half away. Milwaukee's 3. Chicago's a little bit busy for me. It's a little bit overpopulated, and the transit time. I don't know if I can deal with the traffic, but Milwaukee's a bigger city, and they're almost just as big, and the traffic isn't as bad. Madison's, I'd say, quadruple the size of Dubuque, and there's a lot more opportunity there too. So I mean, there's so many different companies that are hiring, and that you could possibly fall in love with, or actually better yourself. So, and it's Hirschberg. It's a good resume builder too. It's not like having that on your resume. It's not a well-known company, but it's grown a lot, and it's a good experience to have on there.
Okay.
So it diversifies you from even the restaurant business to the trucking industry and whatever industry I get involved in next. I think a lot of employers like to see that. So.
Okay. If say you picture yourself 5 years from now, where would you think you're gonna be at?
If I could predict the future, it's a tough question to ask. because of my situation I'm in. 5 years from now, like, I hope to be married and have maybe a kid or two. As far as the job goes, that's pretty much unknown. Like if I'm gonna stay with my girlfriend, then maybe I could be like a fireman for 5 years from now and be working for the city. So, but I definitely, like, I would say, yeah, I'm definitely not satisfied where I'm at work right now. So I'm, probably going to be real serious soon to look at other opportunities. So, I mean, it's if you network and I have a lot of connections and I just need to like get out there and do. But I don't like starting a company without doing my research. Because if I start with a company and if it turns out I don't like the job at all, I don't want to have to go through like 3-4 weeks of training and kind of screw them over and have to, they spent all that money on hiring me and the whole process and then training me and then, oh, guess what, this job's not for me. And then like, I know it happens all the time, but I want to be sure. Like, I would love to. I think a lot of companies, I don't know if they let you, but just job shadow for a week or maybe even once or twice and say, okay, what kind of job are you hiring for? And this is what you're doing. Could I see what it's like on a daily basis and like come in and just watch? And that will give the employee a better understanding of what his job duties would be, and then we could ask like, okay, can you picture yourself doing this? But most companies don't give that option because they have over like 300 applicants, and they're basically picking you. You're not picking them.
Okay. So it's not like you want a little bit experience, see what's it look like before you actually want to apply for the job. Right? Okay. Do you have an idea of what firemen look like? The job that they do?
Yeah. I have a couple friends that do it. They kind of explained it to me already, but I've never been on the job yet, though, as far as traveling with them and going on duty.
Okay, so that's for staying in Dubuque. You mentioned earlier about your interest too with coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Have you think about like going back to school for coaching? I mean, in Dubuque, we probably have teaching and coaching as well.
Right. I thought of it, yes. And then, like, I guess the biggest concern is, another financial loan coming out, and while I go back to school, where am I going to get the income as far as getting a part-time job, managing school with work, because most schooling is done during the day, then you have to find a part-time job to pay your bills.
Mm-hmm. Do you live alone now?
Live with a girlfriend. Yeah.
So are
pretty much.
you paying for the rent or?
Yeah.
So you sound like that. Well, see, earlier you did mention about the firemen. You have to go back to school as well. They are pretty much the same, or for like 2 years.
Yep.
Okay.
2 years.
So if you consider paying as 2-job option right now, which one you think might interest you more?
Probably fireman. And coaching, because I think coaching you probably have to get your master's degree if you want to coach collegiate level.
Okay.
Like that would be my. I'm not saying I've missed the ship on it, but I mean you can start at any time. It's difficult though because most people started when they're like 20, 21, and they move up. It's and half of it's knowing people too. If you know the head coach of this college and you're good friends with them, they might hire you on the staff or something like that. So as far as connections and coaching goes, I don't have many connections, but that's when you have to go to school and you got to prove to them that you're good. So.
Have you talked about this thoughts about changing career with your girlfriend?
I mentioned it a little bit, but not that. Like she doesn't. It's not like I'm super unhappy. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not wanting to be there for the rest of my career. So, and she's happy with her career. And I can kind of tell it, like the difference when I get off work. I'm more like just relieved to be off work, and she's like, oh, I had a really good day, you know, and she seems a little bit happier with her work.
What did she say when you mentioned about your career?
You know, I didn't really like, and that the topic has never grown to like a serious level as far as right now goes. And I'll mention it probably, I don't know, next maybe 2-3 months down the road. The conversation will have to come up, and you know, you can always find another job in Dubuque, but that would just be another job to me. Like as far as like being a fireman, that I think that would be in Dubuque. That would be the only other job I'd like to do. So, because you have to be very physically active and very strong, and you have to pass a lot of physical tests for this test. And I have a lot of background in that, so it would suit me well. And the pay is very good. You get a lot of time off too, so that would be very attractive quality.
So it sounds like, do you think you have a skill for that?
Yeah.
A skill set for being a
Yeah.
fireman? It sounds like you're really interested in the finance, like, because salary pay and then the physical activity you have to be. So what does your girlfriend actually do?
She's a speech therapist,
Speech therapy.
so she has her master's degree in that. She works at 2 different hospitals.
So it sounds like you feel, actually I want to ask, like, do you feel a little bit narrow your option right now? Especially just the fireman in the youth.
Yeah. And like, as far as staying in Dubuque,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I kind of feel like I want to play it out and see where it goes, because I don't think I want to give her up for moving far away, you know. So,
So,
it's, but,
so you want to stay with her, but then you also want to, explore the outside world as well.
Mhm.
That sounds hard.
a little bit, the timing wasn't right.
Time's not right.
Yeah, like the timing, like obviously, before I met her, you know, I was single, and that's when I probably should have pulled the trigger and maybe explored elsewhere. But then I met her and got close. Now it's kind of very difficult.
So it's difficult for you?
Well, it was a hard decision. But before, it would have been an easy decision.
Okay, so because you have a lot of commitment with her, so, so it's hard. It's hard. Okay, I just kind of want to know a little bit about the part where you say, since your job option is narrow, as fireman, what if you did a shadow and you did not like the job? what option have you thought of it?
If I didn't like it, I would probably. I mean, there's definitely other jobs in the Dubuque that I could try, and you know, it's. I know every job, you're not going to be 100% happy. I mean, you can be, but you're lucky to have a job like that. There's going to be stress, and there's going to be people above you, and there's going to be days where you just, you don't feel like working. But I guess it all depends on what industry you get involved in. I'm a people person, so I definitely never thought I'd stand behind the desk. But then they had or sit behind the desk. Now people can stand or sit. But the hours are long during the day, so I don't really think I'd want, I guess, like an ideal job, which I don't know if I ever want to do this with a mailman. The challenge isn't there, but as far as the physical part of the job, you're constantly moving, walking around. Yeah, you have to deal with the elements. But I think it doesn't drive me insane, but I'm more of a person that wants to be like on his feet. You know,
Right
that's
channels.
yeah. I like the challenge, but also I don't want the long days inside of an office, like the office setting, the cubicles. I'm not sure that that's cut out for me. You know, so anything that requires you to move around would probably be like maybe half in the office, half outside the office. I have a lot of friends that do sales jobs. There's plenty of sales jobs that do some travel, but some have a variety. But then with the sales jobs, they can have long hours. They can be home at 10 o'clock at night, so you're kind of taken away from your family time. So it's a give and take on each end. I mean, there's not like the perfect job or the perfect hours of jobs. You're going to have to put in more time. Your boss asks you to work 60 hours this week or something like that in order to get ahead in your career. You got to show them that you're interested. I see it at Hirschbach a lot where people put in, they work 6 or 7 days a week, 7 days a week. But I would never do that because it's just too much time. You got to enjoy life too. So I think 40 hours a week is plenty for anybody out there.
So you just want you want to find a job that have hour that's not way too late for you, and you don't like a long hour. You don't like to stay in the office like the whole day.
Right.
Okay. And it sounds like Herbach, the place you work now, it's have a little bit of the salary. That's a good part, the physical aspect that the boss gave you, and the healthy. Okay. But you don't like the work hours, or you like the long hours.
The long days, they get to you. They don't physically drain you, but they mentally drain you. So mentally, after you get off work, you can be tired and just not feel like. I mean, I try. Literally, once you zone, like get off work and let that all out of your mind, and then you go work out or go for a run, and everything's back to normal. So it's good.
You do enjoy your work, you do, but just you don't feel like they are the right fit for you because of the and also the fact that your boss didn't seem like it helpful. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever talked to anybody about this? Like any coworker actually complain about it?
Oh yeah, I mean I have talks with coworkers. Coworker I have lunch with, we talk about the problems with Hirschbach and how it's an industry where the problems never ever go away, and it's like a reoccurring theme and stress all over again every day because of you dealing with a lot of unknowns. When you're dealing with a lot of unknowns, as far as truck driving goes, it can become kind of you can get burned out. Pretty fast. So, but you just kind of, I guess, I'm not saying everybody does, but kind of work for the weekend, put in your work, and then you just can't wait till Friday, get off work, and then you're free. You get to go to your fun friends and fun stuff.
Okay. So, if you want to change something in your work, what type of change would you consider?
Like as far as a different position in Hirschbach, or
That's because you sound earlier. You mentioned you want to go up in your company.
right, there are different avenues you can take, but as far as there's like 3 different things you can manage drivers, you can manage the planning, or you can be the customer service rep, and then there's the human resource side. Marketing there's not too much marketing in the trucking industry. So planning, you're not on the phone that much, but you're crunching a lot of like numbers in your head and using a lot of like logistics training, and that can be stressful too because you pretty much have to have all your loads covered. You got to book the right freight, but you know that could after a day of planning 500 loads, you could be really stressed out also. So the trucking business in general might not be for me.
You feel like it's not for you?
Yeah. As far as like continuing with it, but I gave it a good chance, and I'm not saying it was a waste. It was a good experience.
Let's say if the job con right now is a little bit improved, what kind of improvement would you want to make it happen? To make you feel comfortable coming to work and want to work?
I guess depending on what the business is, what you're selling, what kind of product you're selling, and you're just a little bit more passionate about the product. Whether it's insurance or I guess grocery stores, for example. I guess if you like being around people and you're like stocking or making sure all your products are on the shelves, but just a little bit more passionate about what the company is.
What is your passion?
I just like to be around people and just I guess making sure that it's always make people happy and make that kind of connection on that level.
Well, so you like to work with people, and is the place you work in right now give you a lot of opportunity to work with people?
Not necessarily, no. It's cut and dry. Yeah, it's pretty much, basically, it's all you're doing is moving freight. And it's like I told you before, it's very stressful. The drivers have a lot of pressure on them. And the people that work under, like, with the drivers to get the freight there on time. So, if the freight doesn't get there on time, that's where it's cut and dry. It's like, you don't get yelled at, but like, if the freight doesn't make it on time, it's kind of a big deal. But the vice president and president get mad because we're hurting the service, and that's all we do is provide a service for these customers. We get rated on one thing, and one thing only is service. Are you at 99% or are you at 95%?
Okay.
What's acceptable?
Is there any position in the company that actually let you work with people?
Like in the human resource side,
Okay.
I think their job is a lot more laid back, stress-free, because they're not even part of the operations side. Operations just meaning like loads and freight. Human resource, they hire the people, they fire the people, they recruit employees, job fairs. It'd be a cool job, but maybe I wouldn't want to recruit for a trucking company. Employees I'd want to recruit for a company that I enjoy working for. I think future recruits would like. But that's their job is to make Hirschbach look attractive because that's their position.
So you don't like that job either?
Not a trucking company. I wouldn't want to be a human resource person on a trucking company.
What kind of company would you like to work in?
Just anything, I guess, just trying to jobs to do. There's Medline. That's a medical supply company, and ultimately that's all what I have from. I have a whole wide array of products. You're basically servicing hospitals and nursing homes with medical supplies. That, to me, it would be just getting based on service because you're providing a product to the customer.
Right.
We're just providing service.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Like even 401k, health insurance, you're providing a product to the customer, and they appreciate that, they need it. We don't get based on one thing. We're judged on service.
Sound like you is not really satisfied with what you're working in now, right?
Right.
Sound, and also the fact you just working for the salary and the pay and stuff. So we talk a lot about your career options, and as far as I know, that sound like you have things narrowed down to being a fireman, and if that doesn't work, then you wanna
Switch
to find another one. You did mention about the a company, a different company that you might want to work in that deal with people instead of service, right? I guess as far as maybe good option for you would be, because you know what you're passionate about, working with people, that's your passions, and then also the fact that you kind of want to stay here. Let's say if you stay here and interview with your girlfriends and working and exploring fireman jobs, and I think that's good that you have that, and knowing what option you have, it's good as well. So, do you feel that you have a good idea that what you're gonna do in your career?
Yeah, I mean, I do. I think, well, obviously I'm not there right now, but I know I have to change in order to make myself a little bit happier. I'm not saying I'm miserable at my job. The job's not that bad, but it's not something that I want to do forever. So I definitely know I got to make the change.
Maybe you can set some goal for you. It was something when you consider. Maybe the first goal would be, getting more research on the fireman jobs. Since that's indeed right. Maybe you should look into job shadowing, see if that's an option that they would give. Maybe the second goal would be getting to research on other companies that you like to work with that have a lot of opportunity for you to work with people. Maybe that's another option for you. So if you want to stay in the view and with your girlfriends. As far as right now, I think those are two main goals you would like to explore, since you know that you want to stay in the view.
Yes.
Does that sound good for you?
Yes.
Okay. Is that good for end sessions here?
Good.
Okay. Thank you, then.
You're welcome. So you want to go into not school counseling, but career counseling?
No, it just. Hold on. Let me get this up.